music and live entertainment. Gaylord Carter began playing the organ in the 1920s, and today he is celebrating his 60th anniversary at the keyboard.
The great movie palaces of the old days it was like going into a cathedral. The $1 Million Theater there at 3rd and Broadway it was like entering a great temple. But what was going on in there was pretty important too. Now, for instance, when I first went there in 1926, the feature picture was The Temptress with Greta Garbo. There was a 30-piece symphony orchestra in the pit playing the score of the picture and the overture. And then they would play the first 10 minutes of the last show at night, and I would finish the evening out with the rest of it. On the stage was Paul Whiteman with his marvelous jazz band, jazz orchestra, introducing the Rhapsody in Blue. There was a newsreel, a cartoon, and my organ solo was Roses of Picardy. Haven't played it since. I don't know how I happened to play it then, but you got all of this for 35 cents if you got in before 6 p.m. The theater organ was developed so that when the organ came on and the orchestra went to take their rest, it didn't drop down and seem like you'd suddenly gone into a mortuary. What they did was increase the pressures in the pipes and give it a more vibrant sound. Then they added the traps and the percussions, the tambourines and the bells and the xylophones and the drums to make it, to give it this orchestral effect. Now, I have this organ rigged up for that kind of thing, and here is some of the sound using these percussions and what we call the toy counter, which is the drums and tambourines and things. So that would be this. Music for the silent pictures had a very special kind of sound. For instance, a love scene sounded very much like this. Now, the name of that is Hearts and Flowers, and it was a famous, famous piece. In fact, it sort of identified itself with the early days of the silent movies. Now, the next important ingredient, and something that is in all movies, whether silent or sound, is the big chase. And that goes kind of like this. I can go on like that indefinitely because some of these chases lasted 10 minutes. I remember one time, probably in about 1928, we were having a premiere of Tell It to the Marines with Lon Chaney. And the manager said, you're going to have to play for about an hour while the people are coming in. So he says, don't play the Marines hymn and marches and things furiously for that whole time. He said, I would appreciate it if you would just perfume the air with music. And I think that's a beautiful expression, and I've been trying to perfume the air ever since. But there are times when you have to get up and roar and make a big sound. And it's nice to have a balance between the perfume and the fury.